Hello everyone, we are Team 7 and we are playing Scrum game using Kivin. So let's start the game. Okay, as you can see, these are the players on the board and this is the progress dice and this is the main dice. So let's roll the dice. As you can see, one is being displayed on the screen and this particular player has moved one position. Alright. As you can see, the second player has also moved from position from the initial start position. Now let's roll the dice again. Okay, so there's one particular player has stopped on the impediment card. So the card is being displayed on the screen, and now you just touch on the card and the card displays. All right. So
became a little shaky.
okay. So this is the particular this is the particular card that's displaying on the screen, and so when we touch the card disappears on the screen. All right. So let's roll the dice again. Okay, as you can observe, the player on the green has landed on the end of the day. That is on the blue color moving symbol. So what has happened is, here, top right hand corner, the days, it has been marked with X. And so, the end of the day, it's just end of the day. So let's roll the dice again. Okay. Alright. Let's roll it again. Okay. The player in green has landed on the tool card, and so the card is displayed on the screen. Now we have to touch the card. Okay, so the message is displayed. So once you click on this, this should disappear. Alright. So let's roll the dice again. Okay. So the other card is displayed. Let's click on the card. Call for a meeting. Okay. Okay, so one player has reached on the inner circle, and whenever a player reaches into the inner circle, these progress dice have to be rolled. Okay. So basically what's happening here is the player in blue has landed on an opportunity symbol, and so the card is being displayed. So you have to click on the card, and again the card has to disappear. Now let's go the next. Okay. The player in green has stopped on the tool card, and so the card is displayed on the screen. Click on it, the card is displayed, and when you swipe on it, the card disappears. So basically, the game is whenever a particular token or the particular player stops on any of these particular activities, the respective card is being displayed. And the special cases, whenever it stops on these blue color symbols, right? These blue moons here, this one here, there's another one here, and there's another one down. So whenever the player stops on either of these moons, that's called the end of the day. The days get updated with the red symbol marked as X. So whenever the end of the days is completed till the end, then the player will go to sprint review. Okay, so let's continue with the game. So let's roll the main dice. As you can see, there's no clicks being taking place on the screen, on through the computer, it's playing through the Kinect. And on the screen, you can see that this is the particular overall status of the game. It has a total number of burn down hours. This is the total 300 and remaining 399. And this is for the player 1 and this is for the player 2. Okay, so let's go the. Okay, so this is the basic overall game structure where according to the roll of the dice, whatever number that is displayed, random numbers displayed on the dice, the player has to move accordingly. And if he stops on any of these cards, that is the red color is the impediment card, the yellow one is the opportunity card, the blue one is the tool card, and this dark blue moon is the end of the day. Okay? Thank you. We are team 7 and we have implemented the Scrum game using Kinect. My name is Jude Martin and these are the responsibilities that I have taken towards the project. I have implemented the chain of responsibility pattern. I have also drawn the sequence diagram for rolling the normal dice and also a class diagram for the chain of responsibility design pattern. Another use case specification when the normal dice is being rolled, and implemented the logic for updating or marking the end of day as completed. Okay, so let us look at the class diagram for the chain of responsibility design pattern. Here the handler is the interface that has two methods, handle request and set successor. This design pattern is used whenever this design pattern is used to display the cross symbol or the red color cross symbol whenever the player stops on the end of day state. Okay, so we have 10 different classes here categorized as the concrete handlers as day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 to day 10. Each of them implement the handler interface having the methods handle request and set successor. The handle request takes a request of an integer, and whenever the integer is 1, the day 1 handles the request and displays on the screen the symbol, the red color X symbol. If the request is not if the request does not match the particular day, then the set successor method will send it to the next handler, which is day 2, and so on. It continues up to day 10. Now these set successors have to be set in a particular class, and the particular class used to set the successors is the Scrum world. In the Scrum world, the successors from day 1 to day 10 are set using the set successor method, and therefore this is the particular design pattern used to implement. We have implemented using the chain of responsibility design pattern. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Purnima. I have implemented the state pattern. My other responsibilities for this project included creating the class diagram for the state pattern, sequence diagram for the rolling progress dice, use case specification for rolling progress dice. I implemented the logic for state-based actions and also created the activity overview diagram. So this is the state pattern, and the class diagram for the state pattern is as seen here. I have implemented the state pattern to depict the positions on the Scrum board. I have selected the state pattern because the actions to be performed changes based on the current position of the player. For example, if the token is on the burn up 50 state, then the corresponding total hours is modified. In this way, each position has its own corresponding action to be performed. Now let's look at the class diagram. In this class diagram, the player state acts as the state. The classes like tool state, throw progress dice into to state, throw progress dice up state, throw progress dice state, start state, sprint review state, opportunity state, impediment state, and all these other classes, they act as the concrete states. And when we look at this player class, it acts as the context here. So the main reason for using the state pattern was because the behavior changes based on where the player is. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Apurva Gauni. These are the below are the contributions of mine to the project. I have implemented the strategy pattern. I have drawn a class diagram for the strategy design pattern, sequence diagram for picking a card, use case specification for picking a card, implemented the logic for strategy pattern for picking the opportunity cards, and also the class overview diagram. I have used the strategy pattern to implement the opportunity card logic. Here I have used this pattern because the behavior of the player changes with the opportunity card he has picked. Here in this strategy pattern, player acts as a client, the opportunity state class is the context, the opportunity strategy is an interface, the classes daily scrum strategy, end of day strategy, and discuss strategy implements the interface opportunity strategy which has do card action method in it. For example, in our game, if the player lands on the opportunity state, he has to pick one of the card from the opportunity card text. If the player ends up picking the end of day strategy card, then the player has to move to the end of the day state in the Scrum board. This logic of going to the end of the day is implemented in do card action method of the end of strategy class. Similarly, the do action card action method of the daily Scrum strategy class implements the logic to move the player to the daily Scrum state, and also the discuss strategy class, the do card action method implement logic is to add an additional progress die to the Scrum game. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Mario Madan Vinay Prakash. Welcome to the Scrum game. These were my contributions. I helped implement the composite pattern, implemented the logic for interacting Kinect with the Scrum game, designed the use case specification for the updating the end of days use case, created the class diagram for the composite pattern, and created the sequence diagram for the end of days use case. Let's have a look at the class diagram for the composite pattern. We have the dice component abstract class that contains the abstract methods to be implemented by its subclasses. Its subclasses, the dice composite and the progress dice composite, define the composites that we are using for the normal dice and the progress dice respectively. Next, we have the leaves, the dice class and the progress dice class. These contain the functionality for rolling the normal dice and the progress dice respectively. They contain methods such as roll, notify roll, get value, is Scrum to implement this functionality. The player triggers either the normal dice or the progress dice by touching the respective dice using the Kinect. Once the normal dice rolls, a value is randomly generated and displayed on the screen. This value is then used to move the token on the Scrum board. We are using 2 normal dice for each of the players in the game. We are also using 3 progress dice for either burning up or burning down the number of hours in the Scrum game. We are able to add additional progress dices in the game. When the token lands on the space, add progress dice. However, we have limited the maximum number of progress dice that can be added to 6.
Hi, I'm Amarnath Karpakla Suranarayana, and these are the following tasks I did in the project. Implemented the observer pattern, use case specification for end of game scenario, sequence diagram for end of game scenario, class diagram for end observer design pattern, implemented logic for EOD scenario. Observer pattern is basically used to maintain a list of dependents called as the observers, where any changes happening will be notified to the observer. Let's see the class diagram of the observer pattern. The observer pattern has two interfaces, subject and Hi, I'm Amarnath KS. I have implemented the following. Implemented the observer pattern, use case specification for end of game scenario, sequence diagram for end of game scenario, class diagram for end observer design pattern, implemented logic for EOD scenario. I will use the observer pattern to be implemented in the project, which basically has a list of dependents where any changes happening will be notified to the observer. Let's have a look at the class diagram. In the observer pattern, there are two interfaces, subject and observer. The subject has three functions, attach, detach, notify observers. The subject interface is implemented by the end of state class, where few more functions are implemented. The do action, burn up, down update, get state, set state, attach, detach, and any changes happening will be notified to the observer through the concrete observer, which is in implementing the observer interface. Here, the concrete observer and set initial and update functions are implemented. Basically, when the player uh, reaches the end of day state, it is notified to the observer. Thank you.